Hi, so the rest of the video will be in like a normal long like horizontal format, I promise. I do just want to say that I actually recorded this video and I was going to make it into like a makeup channel one, but I decided I'd rather stay like drama channel vibes. So if you hear me ever referencing, oh, this is my first video, whatever, it's not. Alright, I've done a few in the past. Anyway, my name is Adrienne. I do commentary and shit like that, and I need to start being more consistent. I know I finally have done a bunch of shit I've been meaning to do, and so I should be able to get more consistent now. Okay, anyway, thank you. We are talking about the E.L.F. controversy and how E.L.F. kind of like fucked up. They partnered with Matt Rife, and you'll just see. Okay, bye. By the way, I know this eye is red. I had really bad allergies, and I have really bad allergies. I've been rubbing my eyes. This one's gotten the worst of it. Hi, this is editing Adrienne. You'll see me a few times throughout the video, but I just realized that throughout the entire video, it looks like I used the wrong shade of foundation because of the way my neckline, like my shirt is cut. I work at a doggy daycare. The sun hits me really weird, so I have really weird tan lines. You can see that my arm is like two different colors, so the foundation does match my face. It just, you can only see my neckline and it looks like it's unblended. The foundation isn't unblended, my skin is. So just pretend like it's a shade match with my arm, all right? I'm so sorry, guys. It looks like I'm trying to cosplay as Trump. I'm not. It is my actual skin tone, just the tan one. Anyway, let's introduce some characters. This is Matt Rife. Everyone say hi, Matt. Who is Matt Rife, you may ask? A dumbass. Sorry, that was a bit rude of me. Matt Rife is a comedian that had a large fan base of women due to his conventional attractiveness, I suppose. I don't know. I never found him attractive, but maybe that's just me. I suppose he probably had a few good jokes. I don't know. I never really listened in. I'm not a huge stand-up comedian person, so I don't really know if most of his jokes were good, but I know one was very, very bad, and that is the one that he has found himself in hot water controversy for, and the one that got him pretty much canceled. And that is this lovely line from his Netflix comedy stand-up.
The hostess had a black eye, and my boy who I was with was like, yeah, I feel bad for her, man. I feel like they should put her in the kitchen or something where nobody has to see her face, you know? And I was like, yeah, but I feel like if she could cook, she wouldn't have that black eye.
He actually noticed the unprecedented amount of backlash, so on his Instagram story, he offered a link to his official apology. The link then took you to a website that sells special needs helmets.
So funny, isn't it, guys? So let me explain the joke here for you guys really fast, because it's golden. It's a really good one. You know, if women cooked better, they might not get beat at home. Isn't that hilarious? Especially coming from a man. Hilarious. Now, I shouldn't need to explain to you why this is a ridiculous joke, and not in a good way. But some people have been going it's dark humor, it doesn't matter, it's dark humor. You guys are so sensitive. Lord of mercy. So sensitive. Okay, bitch, let me break it down. And this is coming from someone who loves a good dark humor joke. I think people forget that dark humor doesn't have to be offensive to be funny. Let's take this classic dark humor joke for an example, one of my favorites. The depressed kid went to go high-five a tree, but it left him hanging. What am I doing? Why am I putting concealer on? I don't put concealer on yet. Give me a second. Matt Rife is infecting me. Stab this. I think I'm talking about Republicans so much I'm starting to do their makeup. Lord forbid. I'll use this E.L.F. one I bought before the controversy, for old time's sake. Where was I? Oh yeah, I love a good dark humor moment. Dark humor doesn't have to be offensive to be funny. That's not the dark part of it. Let me compare that joke that I just said. Here's the reason why that joke feels less offensive than the one Matt Rife made. Actually, there are a few things. It's vague. The depressed kid is not alluding to a specific person. Now, whether he actually was in that situation or not and if he actually made that joke or not, doesn't really matter, because there's still a chance he was alluding to one person, and there's also a chance that person he may have been alluding to saw that stand-up. How do you think she would have felt? Especially if she was actually in that situation. Also, dark humor doesn't have to imply that it's the victim's fault, you know? To imply that the woman is the cause of domestic violence isn't funny, it's straight up offensive. And it shouldn't be tolerated. It's like kicking someone who's already down. Dark humor should not be an excuse to say whatever the fuck you want under the guise of a joke. Also, the person delivering the joke matters a lot too. Let's bring it back to the depressed kid joke. I used to be, I know I'm about to trauma dump on all y'all, I used to be suicidal. So I feel more like I can make that joke since it's an experience I went through. I'm not guessing how people felt. I mean, I don't know how other people felt 100%, but I do have experience with that. I'm not profiting off of an experience I never had. Of course, I never hung myself, but considered it. Let me tell you one thing I know with absolute certainty. Matt Rife was never a woman in a domestic violence situation. So what gives him the authority on whether that joke is funny or not? In the comment sections of TikTok, you'll see people be like, well, I survived domestic violence and I thought it was funny. So? Great, you survived domestic violence, and I'm not gonna pull the, oh, people can say whatever the fuck they want, you know, they might not really, because I like to believe the victims. Let's say everyone who says that did actually go through domestic violence, which is a strong chance because domestic violence is a problem that plagues a lot of situations, so I do not doubt that they all have. What makes you the decision maker? Or even a group of you? If even one woman who has undergone domestic violence is triggered or hurt by that joke, it shouldn't have been made, because the person making it has no reason to. Alluding to a specific person, blaming them, and having never gone through that, you have no reason to make that joke, Matt Rife. I am talking specifically to you. You have no reason to make that joke. You have no validation. It was ridiculous, okay? Oh, it's a one-off joke. You gotta change. He doesn't change, okay? And to plan that out, to have written that for his stand-up comedy special, to have written that down and been like, yes, this is what I'm going to say, I see no issue with that, tells a lot about his character. This wasn't a one-off joke made on a live stream. He planned it out. He never at any point thought, maybe this is a joke I shouldn't make. I said it before, I'll say it again. Dark humor is not an excuse to say whatever the fuck you want. That's not how it works. It can't be an excuse to be offensive. And to me, yes, it is that serious. If we keep saying things like, it's not that deep, what is that deep? We're at a point in America and the world where shit's kind of going downhill. Sorry, I'm cussing a lot because I'm passionate. We need to start thinking critically. Editing Adrian here, I completely forgot to talk about the special needs helmet thing. I feel like that part doesn't really need a lot of explaining about why that's really fucked up. That's not even a dark joke, that's just like straight up ableist. Alright, so I forgot about that. I knew there was a reason I hated him more than just the joke. It was that. So anyway, I digress. I feel like that one doesn't need as in-depth of an explanation. It's fucked up, everyone knows it's fucked up, and see all of it. But I digress. Let's continue looking at some more characters. Our next character is one you are all probably familiar with, especially if you clicked on this video, E.L.F. Cosmetics. A drugstore brand hailed by many, and by me, as a really good, affordable option. And a brand that surprisingly avoided a lot of controversy, especially compared to some others. Quick little note though, E.L.F.'s prices have been raising. I believe on the Ulta website, they've all been raised by like $1 recently. And they had released a skin tint that was $18. Okay, which is expensive for E.L.F. and for drugstore makeup. I don't go to drugstore to get a small, I actually have it. I got sent it in my Etsy. $18. It's not even good. This is like thick silicone too. It's like a travel size amount for $18, alright? We're talking borderline Sephora prices. So those are our two main characters. Matt Rife, the controversial comedian, and E.L.F. Cosmetics, the surprisingly non-controversial drugstore makeup brand. Here I would like to note that Mr. Rife does not wear makeup. I don't believe he ever has. In fact, I'm genuinely surprised he accepted the deal, because I feel like he'd be more of one of those people who would say, no, I'm too masculine to be in a makeup ad. He's not known for wearing makeup. So what do Matt Rife and E.L.F. Cosmetics have in common? The answer to that is nothing. Matt Rife is a man that doesn't wear makeup. E.L.F. is a makeup company whose audience is mostly women. Not only women, of course, but majority, I think it's fair to say. There was no point in Matt Rife being in the following commercial.
Hey girl,
Has overpriced beauty hurt your wallet?
E.L.F. that.
Alfino and Schmarns have gone to E.L.F. Court for millions of clients, helping them to access beauty products they deserve at prices that won't injure their livelihoods.
Just ask the E.L.F.ing people.
I know a thing or two about red flags, and pricey makeup, you deserve better than that.
You may be entitled to benefits.
Let's get you those eyes, lips, funds.
Find out what your case and face are really worth.
Call us at 1-855-COLD-HARD-LASH.
That's 1-855-265-34.
273-2274.
How people gonna remember that?
Well, here's a number you can remember. $9.
Alfino and Schmarns, affordable beauty attorneys. We'll win the E.L.F. case for your eyes, lips, and face. Call 1-855-265-3427.
Call me.
I want you to think, at any point during that ad, did you think there is no other character, there is no other person but Matt Rife who could have taken this role? No. In fact, I think there are some other comedians who do wear makeup that could have done that role much better. Why in the world did they choose Matt Rife? Let's listen to some reactions. These are some TikToks with the same opinion as mine, just so you can see that I'm not the only one who thinks it. Let's go.
It seems like some people need it spelled out to them why Matt Rife working with E.L.F. is an issue. E.L.F. has spent years building a reputation of empowering women. They've run multiple empowerment campaigns, worked very closely with women's charities, and even platform survivors' rights activists in the Show Yourself series. Matt Rife is the comedian who opened his Netflix special, which he somehow got with a DV joke. Joking about a woman with a black eye and how she wouldn't have it if she just knew how to cook, or whatever the shit joke was. And a lot of comments I see on other creators' videos about this issue is that, well, it's dark comedy. But people can find dark comedy funny. It's not about banning jokes. It's about brand alignment. If your whole thing is about empowering and uplifting women, choosing someone whose most viral moment makes fun of abuse sends a completely different message to the one they've been trying to build. To the survivors and advocates who have spent money on E.L.F., who have chosen E.L.F. because they align with those values, this just screams that like none of that matters. None of that, everything we did was just for jokes. Those values aren't as important as this viral moment, this viral campaign. That the empowerment talk is just marketing, that they truly don't care. That's what it's giving off. And what makes it so bad is that it doesn't just clash with their image, it completely undermines everything they've done. Dark comedy can live in its own lane, but if you are a brand who have built a reputation and a fan base, a consumer base on empowering and uplifting women, this isn't the guy you choose.
Hi, E.L.F. Cosmetics. You suck! As somebody who has not only worked with E.L.F. but also wrote a 10-page marketing analysis on them because I had respect for their strategies, it would be wrong for me not to speak up on what's going on. Here's my analysis for reference. Now, in my opinion, when a brand known for its affordability releases an $18 skin tint, they officially have nothing that distinguishes them from any other brand on the market. So what happens when you basically lose all your relevancy as a brand? Get people really angry so they start talking about you again. Come out with your stupid premeditated apology statement saying, "We are so sorry, as a brand, this campaign did not align with any of our values." Except it's not gonna work this time. You took it too far. You chose to work with somebody who makes comments about women's reproductive organs saying God left a tag on them.
Hi, I'm back. Completely forgot he said that. He said he didn't like women with big, like, clits because they look weird or like gross, and that's obviously, again, odds are just piling up against this guy. All right, ew, disgusting, man.
Meanwhile, in 2024, you joined the Every Body campaign, the largest beauty industry-backed reproductive justice initiative for the second year. As a brand who boasts an employee base which is 74% women, over 40% diverse, and who has a board of directors that is 78% women and 44% diverse, you chose him to work with of all people? In my opinion, you're no longer the affordable makeup brand that people go to. MCO Beauty's got you beat, and I'm going to be joining them. Good riddance.
It's probably not going to be very good for business, but you know what's also not good for business? Choosing to have the face of your campaign be a man who openly jokes about violence against women. In case you missed it, a couple of hours ago, E.L.F. Cosmetics posted their most recent ad campaign where they had Heidi in Closet, who love famous drag queen, big fan of her in Drag Race. She was the best thing about that ad. The worst thing about that ad, Matt Rife is the other face of the campaign. To wake up this morning and see this, I am genuinely so disappointed. As both a consumer and a creator in the beauty space, I'm incredibly disappointed in you, E.L.F. Cosmetics. I have used and loved E.L.F. Cosmetics for a long time. I have worked with you several times. I do not stand behind this. I do not support this, and I cannot continue to support a company where the people at the top think that this is okay. Because also, E.L.F. Cosmetics, I mean, I'm just spitballing figures here, but I would hazard a guess that your customer base is anywhere from 90 to 95% women. I cannot fathom a world in which, as a business, a multi-billion-dollar business that has the influence that you have, that you would sit there and say the best person to have as the face of this campaign is Matt Rife, the man who jokes about domestic violence. And possibly the saddest part about this is that it's not just one person's decision. For a campaign of this size, it would have had to pass through so many hands. The amount of checks and balances and approvals that would have had to happen for this campaign to go live. Can you honestly sit here and tell me that nobody at the top stood back and said, hey guys, I don't think this is a good idea. I don't think that as a multi-billion-dollar business in the beauty industry with a customer base that is 90% women, we should have the face of our campaign be a man who openly jokes about violence against women. Did nobody sit there and say, hey, in 2025, when there is an absolute epidemic of violence against women, let's not not choose to have the face of our campaign be a man who jokes about domestic violence. Let's not platform Matt Rife, because if we're being super honest with each other, e.l.f. Cosmetics, with the amount of money and the resources that you have at your fingertips, you could have had literally anybody else, but you chose Matt Rife, and God, I would love to hear the explanation as to why. Also, I don't know about you, but I've never once seen Matt make beauty content. Not once. So it's not as though he was chosen for this campaign because he has a strong alignment to the brand, because he's got a strong affinity to the brand, or even because he's got a strong alignment to the industry. So why was Matt Rife chosen for this? Because also, e.l.f. Cosmetics, when you sign a contract with somebody as the face of your campaign, as the face of your business, when you cut a check to that person, you're essentially telling your audience and your customers, hey guys, in this moment, that person represents our business. That person represents us. Wow. Hey, e.l.f. Cosmetics, in this moment, you told us all that Matt Rife represents e.l.f. Cosmetics. Personally, I'm good.
Trust me when I say it gets better. Because they apologized, sort of. Let's read their apology, shall we? Say hi to the camera. This is my dog. She says hi. Ah, don't like my makeup. You know us, we're always listening, and we've heard you. This campaign aimed to humorously spotlight beauty and justice. We understand we missed the mark with people we care about in our e.l.f. community. While Atheno and Schmarns closes today, we'll continue to make the case against overpriced beauty. A mediocre apology post at best. But here's where things really kind of go souther, because not only was that apology, again, mediocre at best, but they didn't even remove the post. The advertisement is literally a scroll or two down. So the apology itself doesn't actually address any of the issues, like who they chose to partner with and why they would do that. In fact, it doesn't really mean shit. Not only did they not remove the controversial posts, they continued posting as though nothing was wrong. As though nothing happened at all, like their little ChatGPT, not even ChatGPT could do a better job than that. And to me, the controversy isn't even the worst part of this. The Matt Rife thing is awful, obviously, but really how they handled it shows a lot about them as a brand. Because it's one thing to do something bad, it's another thing to do something bad and take accountability, and it's a third thing to do something bad, take accountability, and make a change. e.l.f. hardly got to step 2, and that's being generous. But it gets kind of funny. There's a funny twist here. While e.l.f. is busy releasing one of the worst apologies and the worst handling of a controversy known to the social media world, especially from a brand, other brands are pouncing on this opportunity. Because if there's one thing brands can do, capitalize. Essence is the least dramatic all of these, releasing a post about saying no to violence against women with no specific allusions to e.l.f. or the campaign. Then we pop on over to Profusion, which has released a slightly very shady post. And I quote, "No courtroom, no bad jokes, just affordable beauty. All under $10. And affordable, empowering, and beauty that actually gets you." I wonder what the courtroom and jokes could be a reference to. It's a mystery. And then we have my personal favorite post from Wet n Wild. "We put our money where it counts. No fancy campaigns, no overpriced beauty, no jokes. Just high quality products that won't hurt you or your wallet." I like that "you" is in all caps. We believe in creating fun products that empower all, the glow up without the markup, not choosing between quality, cost, and values. Get all your Wet n Wild favorites for under $10 each. Also, another slideshow they posted, "No bad jokes, just good glam. We've got what you're looking for. Need a new go-to sticky primer? We've got you. Our clingy primer is only $6.39, which is so specific." This one's my favorite. $18 for a skin tint? Sounds like overpriced beauty. Our niacinamide skin tint is only $8.98. I don't know why their prices are so specific. Our punchline? Fabulous looks and 2025 prices locked in. Y'all, I can't with the shade. They probably saw how their first slideshow went over, which was well. I love that they called out the specific products. I think that's hilarious. I haven't tried the products they're talking about that they're promoting. I need y'all to tell me if these Wet n Wild products are actually good, because if so, I will get them. And we do have to remember, this is all marketing. Brands with similar or lower prices to e.l.f. saw the opportunity, they went for it, and it worked, which is great. But at the end of the day, whether it's marketing or not, they are right. Wet n Wild, Profusion, and I don't really know if Essence's was targeted or not, but they didn't partner with anyone controversial, and their prices haven't been raising, so in my opinion, they kind of reserve the right to throw that shade. I would love to know all of your thoughts down below. Do you think e.l.f. can make this right. Did you, personally, my stance on it is I was kind of like, okay, they partnered with Matt Rife, that sucks, that's really bad, I'm going to avoid them, but maybe if their apology is really good and they like donate to a women's DV cause or something like that, then I'll forgive them. But instead, they gave that half-hearted, awful apology, if any hearted at all. If you were e.l.f. Cosmetics and you made this mistake for some reason, how would you fix it? I really genuinely want to know. And are there any e.l.f. dupes you want me to try out just to see? Want to know all your thoughts, all your feelings in the comment section down below. Please like, please drop a follow. This would be it would mean so much to me. I love you so much for staying this long. I really appreciate it, and I will see you next time. Bye! Also, here is the look in better lighting because the lighting in the main video sucked. Anyway, bye!